Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be going on a journey through, I guess, the most complex structure in the known universe, the human brain.
Oh.
You guys have sent in some really, really cool research about how our brains evolved and how they actually work.
Yeah.
So get ready for some seriously mind-blowing insights, because we're diving deep into what makes us tick.
I think what's so fascinating about this deep dive is that it's not just about, dry facts or anything like that, but it's about understanding, this incredible journey of the human brain. We'll be exploring how it's evolved over, millions of years, the intricate mechanisms that make it function, and even, some practical tips for keeping it healthy and sharp.
Yeah, forget that old myth about only using 10% of our brains.
Right.
You actually use all of it, just not all at the same time.
Exactly.
Which begs the question, how did this 3-pound wonder become so complex in the first place?
Well, picture our early ancestors, right? Navigating a world full of danger and challenges. Their brains were constantly evolving to help them survive and thrive.
Right.
The brains that were better at problem solving, communicating, and even socializing had a real advantage, and those traits were passed down through generations.
Oh, wow.
It's like nature was running this giant experiment favoring the brains that were best equipped to handle the challenges of the time.
So basically, survival of the fittest brain.
Exactly. Survival of the fittest brain.
But what were some of the specific adaptations that gave our ancestors an edge?
One of the most significant developments was the expansion of the prefrontal cortex.
Okay.
That part of your brain right behind your forehead. This area is responsible for things like abstract thought planning and complex social interactions.
Yeah.
Think about it. The ability to plan for the future, to understand social dynamics, and to make decisions based on reason rather than just instinct. Those were game changers for our ancestors.
It's like having the ultimate upgrade package for your brain. But this wasn't just about outsmarting predators, right?
Yeah.
Exactly as humans started forming larger, more complex social groups, the prefrontal cortex became even more crucial.
Yeah.
It allowed for things like cooperation, empathy, and the ability to understand the perspectives of others.
Oh.
These skills weren't just about survival. They were the foundation for building communities, cultures, and ultimately civilizations.
So the development of the prefrontal cortex wasn't just about individual intelligence. It was about our ability to connect with each other, to build something bigger than ourselves.
Precisely. And alongside this, there was another game-changing development. Language.
Okay.
The ability to communicate efficiently, to share complex ideas, and to transmit knowledge across generations, that was a huge leap forward.
Wow.
It allowed for collaboration on a scale never seen before, and it set the stage for the explosion of human culture and technology that we see today.
It's like having this shared mental toolbox that allows us to connect with each other on such a deep level.
Absolutely.
Speaking of mental tools, when we talk about brain capacity, what exactly does that mean?
It's not as simple as having a set amount of storage space, like a hard drive.
Right.
Brain capacity is about the dynamic interplay of different cognitive functions, processing speed, memory, attention, and even things like motor control.
Wow.
It's not just about how much information your brain can hold. It's about how efficiently it can process that information and use it to solve problems, make decisions, and navigate the world around you.
Okay, so it's less about raw horsepower and more about how skillfully we use what we've got.
Yeah.
But if our brains are so adaptable and capable, why don't we use them at full capacity all the time?
Well, the brain is an incredibly energy-intensive organ.
Yeah.
It's like a supercomputer that uses about 20% of your body's total energy.
Wow.
Even though it only makes up about 2% of your body mass.
That's crazy.
So running at full capacity all the time would be like trying to power a city with a single generator.
Right.
It's just not sustainable.
So our brains are designed for efficiency, only using what's needed for the task at hand.
Exactly, and that's where the concept of neuroplasticity comes in. Okay.
The brain is constantly learning, adapting, and rewiring itself based on our experiences.
Yeah.
It's not a static organ. It's a dynamic, ever-changing system that's shaped by everything we do, think, and feel.
Neuroplasticity. I love that word. It's like our brains are always under construction, adding new rooms, rewiring circuits, making sure everything is running smoothly.
I love that analogy.
But what's happening at a microscopic level? How does this incredible network actually function?
Imagine your brain as a vast network.
Okay.
Like a bustling city with billions of interconnected neurons, the brain's basic building blocks.
Right.
These neurons communicate with each other through electrical and chemical signals across tiny gaps called synapses.
Okay.
Think of synapses as bridges connecting different parts of the city, allowing information to flow freely.
Okay, so we have these billions of tiny messengers zipping around with information.
Yeah.
What determines how effectively they communicate?
The strength and pattern of these connections are constantly changing, shaped by our experiences.
Oh, wow. Every time you learn something new, form a memory, or even just have a thought, those tiny synaptic connections are being strengthened or weakened.
Oh.
It's like paving new roads in the brain city, making it easier for information to travel along certain routes.
So it's not just about the number of neurons, it's about the connections between them.
Exactly.
That's amazing. But what about the actual messages being sent? How does one neuron tell another what to do?
That's where neurotransmitters come in.
Okay.
The brain's chemical messengers,
Yeah.
think of them as tiny packages being delivered from one neuron to another.
Okay.
They travel across those synaptic gaps, influencing everything from our mood and emotions to our ability to learn and remember.
Okay, so we've got these tiny packages being delivered all over the brain.
Right.
Could you give me an example of what these neurotransmitters actually do?
Let's take dopamine, for instance.
Okay.
You know that feeling of satisfaction and motivation you get when you achieve a goal, like finishing a challenging project or mastering a new skill? That's dopamine at work. It's often called the feel-good neurotransmitter because it plays a key role in reward and motivation.
So it's like the brain's way of saying, good job, keep it up.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Exactly.
So dopamine's like the reward system.
The reward system.
And then what are some of the others?
And there's serotonin,
Okay.
which helps regulate mood, sleep, and even digestion.
Wow.
Think about how you feel after a good meal or a restful night's sleep.
Yeah.
Serotonin is likely playing a role in those feelings of contentment and well-being.
So it's not just about our brains. These neurotransmitters affect our whole bodies.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about glutamate,
Okay.
the brain's main on switch for learning and memory.
Okay.
Every time you form a new memory or learn something new, glutamate is involved in strengthening those synaptic connections.
So it's like turning on the light bulb for new information coming in.
Yeah, strengthening those connections.
Wow. So these chemical processes are happening all the time in everyone's brains, regardless of who they are or where they come from.
Exactly. This intricate dance of neurons, synapses, and neurotransmitters. It's the universal language of the human brain. And understanding this intricate symphony is key to unlocking the secrets of who we are, how we learn, and why we do the things we do.
That's incredible. But this is just the beginning, right?
Yeah, right. There's still so much more to explore.
I'm excited.
Next, we'll dive deeper into the fascinating world of neuroplasticity and uncover how we can harness this amazing ability to enhance our cognitive function and live healthier, more fulfilling lives.
I can't wait. I love that word, neuroplasticity. So we'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been exploring, this incredible journey of the human brain, from its evolution to the intricate network of neurons and neurotransmitters that make it all work.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is, but now I'm really excited to delve into one of those fascinating aspects. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself. It's like our brains are constantly evolving, not just over millions of years, but throughout our entire lives.
It's truly remarkable. Imagine your brain as like a bustling city with neurons like roads connecting different areas.
Yeah.
Neuroplasticity is the city's ability to constantly adapt and change, building new roads, rerouting traffic, and even demolishing old structures that are no longer needed.
Oh, wow.
And the best part is that we're not just passive passengers in this process. We can actually influence how our brain rewires itself through our actions and experiences.
So we're not stuck with the brain we were born with.
Nope.
We actually have the power to change it for the better.
Absolutely. Think about learning a new language.
Okay.
As you immerse yourself in the language, your brain starts forming new connections, strengthening pathways related to vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation.
Right.
It's like building a new highway in your brain specifically for that language.
So learning a new language is like a workout for our brains, building those neural pathways and making them stronger. What about other activities? Can things like playing music or learning a new skill have a similar effect?
Absolutely. Studies have shown that musicians, for example, have structural differences in their brains compared to non-musicians.
Oh, wow.
Areas involved in motor control, auditory processing, and even memory are often larger and more developed in musicians, reflecting years of dedicated practice and training.
So those hours spent practicing scales and chords aren't just about making beautiful music. They're actually changing the physical structure of our brains.
So cool. What about people who have experienced brain injuries? Can neuroplasticity help them recover?
It plays a crucial role in rehabilitation.
Okay.
After a stroke, for instance, the brain can sometimes reroute signals around damaged areas, finding alternative pathways to perform functions that were lost.
Oh.
That's like the city finding creative detours to keep traffic flowing even when a major road is blocked.
Okay.
And therapy can help facilitate this process, encouraging the brain to rewire itself and regain lost function. It's incredible how resilient the brain can be.
Yeah.
But we don't have to wait for a brain injury to experience the benefits of neuroplasticity, right?
Not at all. We can actively encourage neuroplasticity throughout our lives by engaging in activities that challenge our brains and promote new learning.
Okay.
Think of it like a mental workout routine.
Okay.
Just like physical exercise keeps our bodies strong and flexible, mental exercises keep our brains sharp and adaptable.
Okay, so what kind of mental exercises are we talking about? Give us some practical tips.
Lifelong learning is key.
Okay.
Challenge yourself with new information, skills, and experiences. Take a course in a subject you've always been interested in, learn a new language, pick up a musical instrument, or even just try a new hobby.
Right.
The key is to step outside of your comfort zone and engage your brain in novel ways.
So it's like cross-training for our brains. What else can we do?
Physical exercise is not only good for your body, it's a brain booster too. It increases blood flow to the brain, delivering oxygen and nutrients that neurons need to function optimally.
Yeah.
And it stimulates the release of those feel-good neurotransmitters like dopamine and endorphins, which can improve mood-enhanced cognitive function and even promote the growth of new brain cells.
So lacing up those sneakers is good for both our bodies and our minds. What about our diets? Can what we eat affect neuroplasticity?
Absolutely. Think of your brain as a high-performance engine.
Okay.
It needs the right fuel to function at its best. A balanced diet rich in antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids, and other brain-boosting nutrients can make a big difference.
Right.
Focus on colorful fruits and vegetables, fatty fish like salmon nuts, seeds, and whole grains.
Okay, so we need to feed our brains with high-quality fuel just like we would a race car. But let's be honest, life can be stressful.
Yeah.
Does stress affect neuroplasticity?
Chronic stress can be very damaging to the brain.
Oh.
It can actually shrink the hippocampus, the area responsible for memory formation.
Oh, really?
And it can disrupt the delicate balance of neurotransmitters, leading to anxiety, depression, and other mood disorders.
So managing stress isn't just about feeling better. It's about protecting the physical structure of our brains.
Exactly. Incorporate stress-reducing practices into your routine, such as mindfulness meditation, deep breathing exercises, spending time in nature, or engaging in hobbies you enjoy. And don't underestimate the power of social connections.
Oh, right.
Strong, supportive relationships can act as a buffer against stress and promote a sense of well-being, which is essential for optimal brain health.
So managing stress, nurturing those social connections, and making sure we get enough sleep, it's all connected to brain health and neuroplasticity.
Right, it's all interconnected.
But we live in a world that's constantly bombarding us with information and distractions. What about technology? How is screen time affecting our brains?
That's a really important question, and it's an area where ongoing research is shedding light on the potential impacts.
Yeah.
Excessive screen time, especially before bed, can interfere with sleep patterns and negatively impact cognitive function. The blue light emitted from screens can disrupt the production of melatonin, the hormone that regulates our sleep-wake cycle.
So scrolling through social media before bed might be robbing us of the restful sleep our brains need to recharge and rewire.
Exactly, and it's not just about sleep.
Okay.
Our brains thrive on focused attention, not constant multitasking and information overload. When we're constantly switching between apps, checking emails, and scrolling through social media feeds, we're training our brains to be distracted rather than focused.
It's like we're constantly bombarding our brains with junk food instead of giving them a nourishing meal.
I like that.
So what can we do? Should we all just ditch our smartphones and go live in a cabin in the woods?
It's all about finding a healthy balance. Be mindful of your screen time, set limits, and create tech-free zones in your home. Instead of reaching for your phone first thing in the morning or right before bed, try engaging in activities that promote focus and mindfulness, like reading a book, spending time in nature, or having a meaningful conversation with a loved one.
So it's about being intentional with our technology use, choosing quality over quantity, and making sure we're giving our brains the downtime they need to recharge and process information.
Exactly. And remember, technology can also be a powerful tool for learning and cognitive enhancement.
Right.
There are countless apps, online courses, and digital resources that can challenge our brains and promote neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
It's all about using technology wisely and making sure it's working for us, not against us.
This has been such an eye-opening discussion about the power of neuroplasticity and how we can harness it to enhance our cognitive function and live healthier, more fulfilling lives. But before we wrap up part 2, I have one more question. We've been talking about the human brain as this incredible adaptable organ.
Yeah.
But with all this talk about brain power, it's hard not to think about the rise of artificial intelligence.
Right.
How does the human brain compare to a computer? Can AI do things that our brains can't?
That's a question that's capturing the imagination of scientists, philosophers, and tech enthusiasts alike.
Yeah.
And while there are some surface similarities, the differences are profound. Brains and computers process information in fundamentally different ways.
Okay, so how exactly do they differ?
Well, brains are analog processors. They deal with continuous streams of information like waves on a beach or the subtle variations in a person's voice.
Okay.
They excel at parallel processing, handling multiple tasks simultaneously with incredible efficiency, and they're remarkably adaptable, constantly learning and rewiring themselves based on experience.
So brains are like master jugglers, effortlessly handling multiple tasks at once while constantly learning and adapting to new information.
That's a great way to put it. Now, computers, on the other hand, are digital processors.
Okay.
They work with discrete bits of information represented as ones and zeros.
Right.
They're incredibly fast at performing calculations and executing specific tasks, but they struggle with the kind of nuanced, context-dependent processing that brains excel at.
So computers are like sprinters, incredibly fast in a straight line,
Yeah.
but not so good at navigating complex terrain.
That's a good analogy. And while AI has made incredible strides in recent years, particularly in areas like image recognition and natural language processing, it still lacks the kind of flexible, intuitive intelligence that we humans take for granted.
So even though AI can beat us at chess or process information faster than we can, it still doesn't have that spark of creativity, that ability to understand the world in all its messy complexity.
Exactly. AI can mimic human intelligence in certain ways, but it doesn't truly understand the meaning of the information it's processing. It lacks the kind of subjective experience, the consciousness that makes us human.
It's like the difference between a machine that can play a beautiful piece of music and a human who can feel the emotion behind the notes.
Right.
So despite all the advances in AI, it seems like we humans still have a few tricks up our sleeves. But this raises a really interesting question. If our brains are so different from computers, what are the implications for the future? Will AI eventually surpass human intelligence?
That's a question that sparked countless debates and predictions. And while no one has a crystal ball, I believe that understanding the unique strengths and limitations of both human and artificial intelligence is key to shaping a future where both can thrive. AI can augment our abilities, helping us to process information more efficiently, automate tasks, and make better decisions.
Yeah.
But it's our human creativity, intuition, and empathy that will continue to drive progress and innovation.
So it's not about a battle between humans and machines, but rather a partnership where each contributes their unique strengths to create something greater than either could achieve alone.
Precisely. And as we continue to explore the frontiers of both human and artificial intelligence, I believe we'll discover even more ways to harness the power of both to solve complex problems, improve our lives, and shape a brighter future.
This deep dive into the world of the brain has been incredibly fascinating. We've covered so much ground, from evolution and neuroplasticity to the intriguing comparisons between human and artificial intelligence, but there's still so much more to explore. Join us for part 3, where we'll shift our focus to the practical side of things.
Right.
We'll be diving into specific strategies and techniques you can use to keep your brain healthy, happy, and thriving for years to come. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've journeyed through the evolution of the human brain, explored the intricacies of its inner workings, and even pondered how it stacks up against artificial intelligence.
And now, armed with all this incredible knowledge, it's time to get practical.
I love it.
We're going to shift gears and delve into actionable steps you can take to keep your brain healthy and thriving.
That's right. We've got the user manual, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's time to optimize our brain power.
I love that.
So where do we start? What are some of the most impactful things we can do?
Well, we've touched on the concept of lifelong learning, and it really is the cornerstone of a healthy brain.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself constantly with new information and skills. Learn that language. You've always wanted to pick up a musical instrument. Dive into a fascinating online course.
I love the idea of constantly expanding our mental horizons. It's like exploring uncharted territories in our own minds. But beyond formal learning, What are some everyday things we can incorporate into our routines?
Even small changes can make a big difference. Change up your routine.
Okay.
Walk a different route. Try a new recipe. Engage in activities that require you to use your non-dominant hand. These small challenges stimulate new neural connections and keep your brain agile.
It's like shaking things up for our brains, preventing them from getting stuck in a rut.
Exactly.
I can definitely see how that would boost creativity and adaptability. What about physical activity? How does that factor into brain health?
Physical exercise is like a turbocharger for your brain. It increases blood flow, delivering oxygen and vital nutrients to those hardworking neurons. Not only that, it triggers the release of those mood-boosting neurotransmitters like dopamine and endorphins.
So it's not just about looking good. It's about feeling good and thinking clearly. Sign me up for that brain, Jim. But let's talk about fuel. What should we be feeding our brains to keep them running smoothly?
Think of your brain as a high-performance machine that needs premium fuel. A diet rich in antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids, and a variety of vitamins and minerals is essential. Load up on those colorful fruits and veggies. Incorporate fatty fish like salmon and snack on nuts and seeds.
Okay, so ditch the processed junk and opt for nature's brain food? Got it. But what about stress? We all experience it, and it seems to be an unavoidable part of modern life. How does chronic stress affect our brains?
Chronic stress can be quite damaging.
Yeah.
It can actually shrink the hippocampus, a key area of the brain involved in memory formation. Stress also throws our neurotransmitters out of whack, potentially leading to anxiety, depression, and other mood disorders.
So stress management isn't just about feeling calmer. It's about protecting our brain's physical structure and function.
Precisely. Find what works for you and make it a non-negotiable part of your routine.
Okay.
Whether it's mindfulness meditation, deep breathing exercises, yoga, spending time in nature, or connecting with loved ones, prioritize activities that help you de-stress and recharge.
It's like giving our brains a much-needed vacation from the constant demands of daily life. Now let's talk about technology.
Yeah.
We're constantly bombarded with information notifications, and the allure of endless scrolling is all this screen time impacting our brains.
There's growing concern about the potential negative impacts of excessive screen time, particularly on sleep and attention.
Yeah.
The blue light emitted from screens can disrupt our natural sleep-wake cycle, making it harder to fall asleep and impacting the quality of our sleep.
So that late-night scroll through social media might be sabotaging our sleep and our brain's ability to recharge.
Exactly, and it's not just sleep.
Okay.
Constant multitasking and information overload can train our brains to be distracted rather than focused.
It's like our attention spans are being stretched thin, like a piece of chewing gum pulled in too many directions. So how do we regain control in a world designed to distract us?
Yeah.
Be intentional with your technology use, set boundaries, create tech-free zones in your home, and prioritize activities that promote focus and mindfulness. Choose quality over quantity when it comes to your online interactions.
It's about being the master of our technology, not the other way around.
Yeah.
But technology isn't inherently bad, right?
Absolutely not. It can be a powerful tool for learning and brain enhancement when used wisely. There are fantastic apps and online resources for brain training, language learning, and expanding your knowledge in countless areas.
So it's all about being selective and making sure technology is supporting our brain health, not hindering it, but beyond individual efforts. Is there anything we can do on a societal level to create a more brain-friendly environment?
That's a great point. We need to advocate for policies that promote brain health throughout the lifespan, from early childhood education that nurtures cognitive development to workplaces that prioritize mental well-being and support lifelong learning. We also need to address systemic issues like poverty and inequality, which can have a profound impact on brain development and cognitive function.
It's a reminder that brain health isn't just an individual responsibility. It's a societal one as well. We need to create environments that support and nurture our cognitive potential at every stage of life.
Absolutely. And as we learn more about the intricate workings of the human brain, we can unlock even more ways to optimize its function, enhance its resilience, and unlock its incredible potential.
This has been such an incredible journey through the fascinating world of the human brain. We've covered everything from its ancient origins to the latest scientific discoveries about how we can nurture its health and vitality.
It really has.
We've explored the intricate network of neurons, the amazing power of neuroplasticity, and the importance of taking a holistic approach to brain health, nourishing it with the right foods, challenging it with new experiences, protecting it from stress, and using technology wisely.
And remember, this is just the beginning of your own exploration. The more we learn about the brain, the more we realize how much there is still to discover. So stay curious, keep learning, and never stop exploring the incredible potential of your own mind.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the human brain. We hope you've come away with a newfound appreciation for this extraordinary organ and a wealth of practical strategies to keep your brain healthy and thriving for years to come.
Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.
This is the Deep Dive signing off.
This is DigitView.